Yeah, give me that. I don't know what's going on with this.
Plug it under the table.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Bill.
Hi.
How'd your liver cleanse go?
Oh man,
Really?
good for what ails you.
Yeah, are you feeling good now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like the first night, man, I slept. I kind of went to bed at the usual time, but I was in bed till 7:30, quarter to 8, and in the morning.
Is
And
that unusual for you? That was like a
yeah,
sleep.
usually I don't sleep in that long, and then of course, what, Saturday night then? I did that.
Hmm.
And then, yesterday got up, slept in too, slept pretty good. And
So you like it?
yeah, it was not so bad. I didn't have a chance to send it to you. I'll send it to you in a text there. There's little snapshots, from the internet. I think I've
Yeah.
said stuff like that before. And it's like so here I gotta see what it says. It's like 7 different brands of olive oil and which ones don't suck.
I like that because some of them are
I
terrible.
know.
Yeah.
I thought you would like that. And so
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm always
But how about that Epsom salt water? For me, that is the worst.
well,
It bugs me so much.
neither one of them were really terrible to choke down. I mean,
Really?
they were kind of
Wow.
a little unpleasant, but the thing is, the Epsom salt, I would, well, even through yesterday, I would kind of, have to burp a little bit like that. And it's like,
Makes it, yeah,
uh,
it could do that.
Epsom salt, still kind of
And
burp.
you have that long GI history too, Bill. So I would lean into doing this again next month, maybe. And you
Well,
look younger and brighter.
you
Doesn't
think I
he
do?
look a little
Well,
brighter, Maggie? Like
I almost did it again last night, but I mean,
you
I don't
could
know.
have. You almost look at you. Yeah.
I don't, too much of a good thing, maybe. I don't know. I didn't, so I just didn't, but because you said there was somebody else who kept doing it every month until they,
Yes. My
yeah.
friend Joe, I don't know if you've met him. He's the one that lives in Colombia. He's like a tall, skinny blonde guy. He loves a liver cleanse. So Maggie, did you get to do the liver cleanse? So Bill and I, and then Eddie was going to start today because he
You
has
know,
to
I,
Yeah.
track.
I missed the last class, so I'm a little bit off, so I'm
So
not
I think
sure.
if we, so basically you could do it anytime. So, and I know you've been cleaning up your diet and getting disinflamed and everything. So this might be a good time for you to do it. And
Okay.
I hate doing it. That's why I was shocked that Bill did not mind
Ah,
because you
it's
have
fine.
to drink this Epsom
And what
salt
does
water
it
before you
entail? Because I have no idea what to do, where to start, none of that.
yeah. So let me see. I posted some things in school, but like literally, like you do it in the night and then the next morning you're gonna have like some extra bowel movements. Like if you're normally like a morning bowel, you're gonna probably have like 3 or 4 or 5 bowel movements in the morning,
Oh
That's
wow!
why
I
Eddie
already,
didn't want to do it
I
while he
don't
was
have a problem in
traveling,
that
right?
department just yet. Now, the last time I tried to go into school to review the medication, it did not let me in. I sent you a text saying that I needed to reset my password, but then we haven't done anything with that, so I can't go into school to look any
Okay, well, I'll have Tisha look at
recordings.
that and I'll send you some things too. And let me just
Okay.
show you guys right now. And I put a couple things on YouTube too. So the main thing is you guys are all good to go, but if it was like say your husband wanted to do it, Maggie, I'd be like maybe not until he does like the detox and all the other stuff, right? Because I don't want him to
Okay.
like get hit by a truck. So
Right.
I
Right.
put some stuff up in the community. Let's see. I remember putting stuff up in the community. Oh, I put some fun facts up. I don't know if you guys saw this. So, because then I got on this whole liver kick while I was doing the liver cleanse, right? So, did you guys know that your liver does like 500 plus jobs a day, right?
Mhm.
So digestion, blood purification, detox, hormone regulation, that glucose and cholesterol stuff that's so important, right, for aging. So this is why doing these liver cleanses. And Bill said, "Man, I don't remember the last time I slept like a baby like that, you know." And I always feel when I hate doing it, I never want to do it, you know. Um, but I always feel the next day like 10 years younger. Like my creative energy is back, like my skin looks brighter, right? Because the liver is basically the filter for your body. So imagine if a filter gets gunked up, right? Like your pool filter, then all of a sudden the pool's nasty, right? That's what happens, right? That's what happens, Bill.
So do you do this cleanse several days, consecutive days, or it's just one day?
I do two in a row. Bill almost went for three, and you could go for three. I just get like so tired of it. And you know what's really funny, you guys, too, is like I was committed because I was feeling so good after the first one, even though I hate drinking the Epsom salt water and stuff. You know, and you have to fast. That's the thing. Like you can have lunch, but skip dinner, you know, like because you don't want to go in heavy to a liver cleanse, you know. And so then you're thinking, oh, do I want to go eat? You have to just be committed to the liver cleanse and 2 hours before bed. So we're shooting for 10 o'clock bedtime, everybody. I know we are, right? So at 8 p.m., we're going to have a heaping table of Epsom salt dissolved in warm water, right? And you've got to do the warm water because it's a salt, so it'll dissolve. And then I add room temperature water to it so I can just chug it down. Because, like I was telling you guys, for me, it is one of the most unpleasant things I've ever tasted. You know, like I do not like the Epsom salt water. And Bill said it makes him burp right away. You might start like farting. You might start farting and burping. It gets stuff moving right away. You know, as
How
soon as
much
you
water? How
I
much
just do
water?
like half a mug. Like it's literally just enough to dissolve the salt and get it down because you could do more water, but it's like it's you just want to get it over with because it's gnarly, you
Well,
know?
you know, like 8 or 10 ounces. That's what I used. You know, and I
Okay.
I just took tap water, and I'll just say what I did. I didn't really I did warm it up a little bit. I put like that in a measuring cup, 8 ounces or 10 ounces, something like that, and for like 30 seconds in the dare I say microwave,
I
and I'm sorry, but that just was
I'm gonna
just
forgive you this time.
just lukewarm a little bit, and it dissolved right in. And I mean, I don't know, I didn't think it tasted that bad. I wish I could share some with you because I had to buy a 4 pound bag,
That's
which
how it
is
is.
like
That's
two
that was what's gonna be
lifetime
my
supplies.
next question. What kind of
Yeah.
Epsom salt? Because the ones that you buy are they're normally for bath and things
So
like that.
here's
Is
the
there a
thing.
specific
That's
one?
what I was gonna say. Don't get one of the flavored ones that's like lavender or lemongrass. Do not do that. Now, here I will say this: you can do any plain Epsom salt, and it will say that it's not for consumption. I have consumed it. Okay, so you can. But if it's making you neurotic, go into Sprouts grocery store. They have one in St. John's. And they in Sprouts in their little kind of pharmacy section, they have an Epsom salt that does say it is for consumption. So that way you can put your neuroses to bed. It's literally the same thing, but that bag they actually say that you can do it. But I've done it with all
Well,
kinds. You just don't want to do the flavored one because that's weird. We don't know what's in there.
Well, the
Yeah.
bag I got was from Walmart, and great value, and it prominently is written on there as a laxative, among soaking your foot in it too. It does say that, so it was
You
it
can take a
marketed
bath with
both
it
ways.
too. That's nice. I know sometimes you get back pain. So Maggie gets back pain sometimes. So then you could do a bath, you could do some liver cleanses, you know.
Right. I
Um,
do have some for bath. Now let me get it.
yeah.
Well, the bag that was here at home, that I found, it had an expiration date, and that was like 10 years ago. And
You're just like,
so
okay, we get a
yeah, and so I didn't use that. We bought another because I don't think it's
Oh,
very
you bought a new one.
expensive. But yeah, we just bought a new one. But that was purchased probably because my foot or my ankle hurt or something like that. I mean that's what it was. That's what I always think of that product for. So I don't know.
So
See, I have this, but
what's the
I don't.
difference between those two? Is one
One it
flavored?
says this one has coconut oil, and this one has ashwagandha essential essential oils, but obviously I don't want to ingest any of that because you're talking about putting essential oils in your gut.
Yeah, I would get the
So
plain one from Sprouts. I just went to that Sprouts in St. John's the other day and got mine, and they have the good olive oil there too. I'll send you a picture of it because some of them actually, I think I have it over here. I have it at both places. So,
so Bill, you just do the water and the oil and that's it?
whoa.
Yeah, the water and
I actually
the olive
I actually
oil.
have both, you
That was
guys. I
done.
have both of them here. So this is the olive oil. The screensaver is making it weird. It's an Italian one. It's got this cool like ribbed bottle in glass. This actually tastes good. This is the first time I did a liver cleanse where I didn't want to gag on the olive oil like with this one. So
That
it
one's
actually
so
feels like,
good.
it's kind of tastes good. You feel like you're at a fancy Italian restaurant, you know? It's called Carapelli and from Florence, from Firenze. So that one I do recommend because then the better it goes down, the easier the whole thing is, right? And then this is from Sprouts because Sprouts are really big out here in Arizona too. So this is the edible one. It says
We can't see it, Dr. Mel. Your background comes through, but
I know
not
it's
the
weird. It's called
product.
Real Root by Sprouts. Real Root
Bill
by
Root.
Sprouts. So then you drink the Epsom salt water, and then right before bed, like an hour and a half or 2 hours later, you want to drink 4 ounces of the extra virgin olive oil. And then you want to go to bed and lay on your right side with your knees up, kind of like in a fetal position for 30 minutes, right? And then if you fall asleep, great. But after that, if you feel like you need to get up and walk around, you can, right? Because our liver's right there on our right side, like at the bottom of our ribs, right? So it kind of is getting over there. And then in the morning, I recommend eating half a dragon fruit. They also call it pitaya. I mean, it's got so many names, but you know, this red one. And then on the inside, it's like black and white polka dot. That is great for cleaning the colon out, right? Because a lot of this is going to take the bile from the gallbladder and the liver and clean out the liver, which has to go out through the colon. So we want to have that colon open, which is why I don't recommend people on a standard American diet like jump into this because it would be a real kick to the face and their system wouldn't be ready. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's fine for you, Maggie. Like you could go and do this today if you wanted to, or tomorrow. And everybody should do it, but they got to do like we do, like do the herbal detox, do the nutritional detox. Don't be eating all day every day. Just have the system kind of running well, and then put this on top of it. But this, I mean, like we said, the liver does 500 jobs a day. Everyone's liver is bogged down. The world is so toxic right now, like not to be a Debbie Downer, but it just is, right? So this is why I do this quarterly. I would do it more often, but I'm not as good a sport as Bill. Like I don't like doing it, so I have to put it on. I'm going to do it again in July. I already decided like yesterday, I'm going to do it again in July. So we can do it together in July. But Bill had that long history of digestive stuff, right? He's worked in
Yeah.
industry, so he's been around like a lot of toxins, right? And so if he wants to do it again next month, like it's only going to help him. And then this is kind of like the parasite cleanse where you might want to look in the toilet, as weird as that sounds, because you might see little kind of round, it almost look like marbles, right? And sometimes they're green, like that bile color. They look like little green pearls coming out in the bowel movements, and it's oddly satisfying, just like the worms on the parasite cleanse. You're like, oh, ching, I'm like cleaning my liver. But literally, like Bill said, he was sleeping so good, he likes it. Like you feel better immediately, even after, like, because this is only going to incrementally improve our liver, right? Because we're all probably running at 25% more or less, and that's why more is better. And especially since COVID too, a lot of people are worried about vaccine injury or spreading, and it is a real thing. It's not that they're just being neurotic, right? And they might be neurotic. Like two things can be true, but one of the best things we can do is a liver cleanse and a parasite cleanse. And because we're all going to be exposed to this, whether we've been directly exposed to it or just through community. And this is one of the things we need to do to keep on top of our whole body working well, is keep this system working well. you know?
And you do
And
this 2 days in a row?
yes, Bill almost went for three. You could do it three, if you're like chugga choo choo liver train, like do it. I felt
Well,
like I had like this devil on my shoulder because Francisco wasn't doing it and he wanted to take me out to dinner and he's like, "Well, you did it last night." I'm like, "Get out of here. I'm doing my liver cleanse." Like, get out of my way. But it's like I feel so good now. I have a friend, and this could be you, Maggie. I told the guys this weekend she has wanted to do this cleanse so badly, and every time she tries, she literally gags and throws up the olive oil. Like she can't get past the olive oil. So that could happen. It happens to some people, and that just means you got to start more like with 1 ounce or an ounce and a half, right? But I mean, me and Bill, we did fine with the 4 ounces. I'm sure Eddie's going to do fine with the 4 ounces. But it could happen. So just know if you're like, man, I can't get this olive oil down, it's okay. And even if you do throw up, that's still a release. But so that could happen. That happens to my friend, and she always wants to do it. And I know that she has a lot going on. Like she has autoimmune, she has, all of this other stuff, right? And so, maybe she just needs more of like baby dosing. So just that could happen. I don't expect that. Most of us do well with the 4 ounces. It's like I think that ends up being like is it half a cup?
yeah, it's a half a cup, and what again, I'll just say what I did. There's a drawer full of measuring cups here, and I found a quarter cup, and
Mm-hmm.
that's you can kind of hang out of that, and just take the bottle and fill that, and do that twice. It's easier to manage. It's like I was worried that if I used a bigger container and dumped a half a cup in there like that, it's like enough clings to the inside that I wouldn't be getting my full dose, right? So I thought I'd use a smaller cup and then you can kind of take your tongue and lick the rest of it out. So,
You're like the
but
A+ liver cleanse student, Bill. I
yeah,
love
I
it.
don't
Yeah,
know.
and so the other fun facts, I put more on Instagram. I didn't want to get the whole thing, but like, did you know that this organ can actually regenerate itself? So the liver is pretty incredible. It's like a supercomputer for the body, just all these actions, right? It can regenerate itself and that it filters the blood every single minute, right? So the liver is pretty amazing. And then I think let me see if I can how do I get out of here? There we go. Let's see. Let's see. So here's a liver cleanse handout. Um, and so that kind of has everything in there, right? So this is not a beginner cleanse, which just means I just don't want like your cousin, your sister, your kid that like has a regular diet to jump into it because it'll be rough, right? It's kind of rough even anyways, right? And then it's just eat simple. Oh, that's the other thing. Don't eat spicy or like a lot of condiments on these liver cleanse days. Like kind of go bland. Like I made a lentil soup. Um like simple, light. Obviously the same things we're going to avoid all the time, processed food, sugar, gluten, dairy, and then just rich delicious stuff. And obviously, I don't want any of you to drink alcohol, but I know I don't always get my way. But like, especially on the liver cleanse, no alcohol, okay? And then it just kind of has the Epsom salt, and then the olive oil, and then the right side, and then the dragon fruit, right? And then take a peek in the toilet because it's oddly satisfying, as weird as it sounds, right? So let me go over here. So that's kind of like it's all in a handout there. Um, and that's what we did. Me and Bill did the last couple days over the weekend, and all of you, especially if you're in this group, you can do this, right? You're already kind of geared up to do this because you've already got the basics down, and you're not doing the standard American living kind of thing, right? And then I do it quarterly. Bill, if you want to, you could do it next month. But I was thinking, Tish, if you want to look it up, like another parasite cleanse in June. Parasite cleanse we always are going to do around the full moon, right? And then the liver cleanse was kind of fun because we actually ended up doing it on the spring equinox. So we did spring cleaning on our liver. And I think I went in here, yeah, and I put it in here under the detox section down here, liver cleanse, right under the parasite cleanse. So if you want to kind of check it out in there, I was trying to put it in there so it made sense. And that was kind of fun. I really got into it. I really got in. Am I frozen?
No.
It looks like I was frozen. Okay. I really got into like the whole liver thing because it's just supporting the liver does so much for all of our stuff, right? And so a lot of us maybe we're thinking about our cholesterol or our blood sugar or detoxing, and the liver's involved in all of that. It's involved in hormones. By the way, I was going to tell you guys, I started reading this book, trying to get into the sweet spot with this screensaver. Look at, you can just see her face. That's so weird. But it's called Hormone Deception by Dr. Lindsay Berkson, who has been through a lot herself with cancer and all kinds of stuff, that started with a medication her mother was given when she was pregnant with her. So this book goes into all the places we're getting hit environmentally that mess with us, right? And it's a lot through the pesticides, right? Which is why it's not just Dr. Mel being annoying. I want you to eat organic and go to the farmer's market and get as close to organic farm sources you can, right? And it's the plastics and a lot of the chemicals are messing up our hormones. So that's why we want to go through and see how we can clean up our house, get the plastics out of the kitchen, get rid of the plastic flipper if you haven't done that yet, or if you've been thinking about replacing the plastic cutting board, do it. And if you've been eating a lot of conventional food, just lean into like finding who's at the farmers market, farmers around you and stuff like that, because it's it's um it's really concerning what's been happening, and they've been trying to deny that these chemicals are affecting humans, but they will accept that they are crazy affecting animals, right? Where like the atrazine, which should just be totally illegal and abolished from the face of the earth, is literally changing the sexes of animals, right? It's literally feminizing the males, right? And they're trying to say, well, those are animals. Well, I mean, come on, it's a living biological being, so it can't be that different for us, right? So
Well,
not trying to get everybody neurotic, but
neurotic,
like
but like
this is the
this is
facts
the
about it, and
facts
that's
about it, and
why we
that's
got to
why we
protect
got
our liver, we got to
we got
detox, we got to do all that stuff, right? And if you're a nerd, go ahead and get Dr. Bergson's books. She wrote a few good books. Like, I had it in the sweet spot there for a minute. Was it back here? Was it here? There it is. But anyways, yeah, she was a speaker at one of the seminars I went to at the end of the year, and she was the one that got me going, wow, about, because I knew hormones were anti-aging, anti-cancer, anti-osteoporosis, but I didn't realize that the hormones are actually healing and preventing damage to our arteries, right? So if y'all haven't leaned into checking your hormones and seeing if those could be optimized, I would encourage you to do that, especially at this point where you've done your detox, you figured out how to eat better, how to live better, you're doing your liver cleanses. Like the next layer would be like, where are my hormones, and could this be optimized, and you've already done the work by getting your insulin in order and all that good stuff. So that's what I'm reading. And then I wanted to go over a couple things here. What's going on here? I'm like, I want to be at the beginning. So yeah, because we don't talk about this much, and I just want to make sure you guys are hitting this, is that exercise is key, right? Especially, I want you guys doing weights at least 3 times a week, right? Because maintaining and building these muscles is going to be the strongest like anti-aging thing you can do, right? Like there's a reason why when we see someone with muscles, we think, oh, like looks good, it's because it is literally the muscle of anti-aging and of youth. And we all know that as people get older, they tend to start falling, right? Like they're losing their balance, right? So I always recommend doing the freestanding stuff. So you have to work that balance, right? Like the machines are cool, but they're all built so you don't really have to be in your own balance control, right? So don't do all machines. Do some free weight stuff, right? Because we want to make sure that we've got that stability, we've got that balance. And we don't want to be like an accident waiting to happen, right? So is anybody doing weights right now? No, but we're thinking about it, right? So I want you to put
Yeah.
that on your list, right? So what I always do is I overshoot because I know I get busy and stuff comes up and whatever. So I always say like, "Oh, I'd like to go to the gym every day," right? And if I make it there 4 days a week, I'm happy, right? But I never say I'm going to go 4 days a week because then I'll end up going twice and I won't be happy. So that's what I do for myself. If you have a friend or a family member you can go with, that always helps us get there better as well, right? I really need you guys to put that on your goals, is to do weights 3 times a week. And I always say go big and then go home, right? If you don't want to be bothered with it, if you feel like you're too busy, like whatever, do your big muscles like your legs and your butt as heavy as you can, and then go home, right? Because then you're getting the most bang for your buck, right? Obviously we want to keep our arms and everything strong, but if you're like, I don't have time for this, well then I say just go big and go home, and this is what all the newest research is, and you'll hear a lot of the anti-aging like holistic health gurus say muscle is the longevity organ, right? So that's why, and we know since working this program that it helps us process our glucose, right? Which is very important so we don't get insulin resistance and all these other problems with aging, right? So here we're saying if you just start with 10 to 15 minutes a day, we can lead to measurable improvements within weeks. So I know Bill likes to walk his dogs every day, right? So you're at least getting like that, you're getting that in. And then what about you, Maggie? You go on walks. So how many walks are you getting in?
Or at least 2 or 3. I was going to the gym, but since I pulled a muscle on my lower back,
Oh.
I'm not doing that for now.
Right. Okay, so then you got to get those Epsom salts out. Do you have a
Yes,
sauna at your
that's
house?
yeah, I do have one, but I'm getting ready to start physical therapy with Mayo, so I will definitely, increase some more of my exercise with them.
Right. And then I wonder what you could do. Like, I wonder if could you do arm weights or, from a seated position
Oh
or
yeah,
something
I
with
could
your,
I could do that. But right
maybe you
now
could do
it's
something
like
like that.
I'm doing my evaluation on Thursday with them, so I'm not trying to do anything that they're not recommending until I do the eval.
Right. Perfect. Perfect. And here's some, if you needed some extra motivation over here, that it's going to help with the heart muscle, the brain blood flow, insulin sensitivity, balance, right? All these things that are really important to as we age, right? And then also even like there's always that stress component to everything, that the exercise helps move that, right? Like move that cortisol, move that angst, and invites in more dopamine and feel good hormones, right? So it even has like a psychological benefit, right? Has anyone noticed that in yourself, that like if you were feeling like angsty and you did some physical activity that you felt better? Yeah, I always notice that with myself too. Um, what is this saying? Oh, it's good for our blood pressure, insulin sensitivity. And time efficient. I like the hit if you can handle it, right? It depends on your system, right? Um, but before we were doing a lot of cardio, right? Did anybody fall into that? Like I was trying to do the cardio for like 25 minutes, like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And now I like you to do that, but if you had to pick, I would say let's do the weights, let's work on the muscles, right? Like Bill, what can you do? What can you do for the weights?
Well, it may sound dumb, but I think it was Suzanne Summers. She had I don't know, something you kind of put between your knees and,
The
squeeze
thigh
together. And
master.
then yeah, yeah, maybe that's what that is. And then there's another one that she has that you go the other way, to kind of spread your knees, for resistance, and I don't know, I use that stuff kind of, I probably should do it more, but I don't always think of it. But that helps. I mean, in the past, when I would really stick to it, I mean, I could really feel, the strength that was built by using that.
So let's try to get that in 3 times a week.
Yeah, I really need to. Yeah, I try to. It doesn't take very long. Do a couple
Yeah, so just
sets.
making it like part of the routine.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. That's how you have to approach it. It's just kind of part of your routine, right?
A lot of people will do reps and they'll even like keep a book so they'll see like, well, how heavy did I go and how many. Some people I know that are super workout people, they always just go until they can't go anymore instead of instead of counting. I think either way works. It's just like you're constantly improving, and then and that is actually damaging the muscles, and then they get repaired when we rest and when we sleep, right? Which is one of the other reasons, like we've been talking about, that the sleep is so important. And this is just more of the same. If you needed any more motivation to exercise, it's literally going to improve everything in your life pretty much, right? And there is a push for protein. So whether you're vegetarian, I know sometimes we get some vegetarians in here, or you're not, the body loves protein, loves amino acids for building muscle, right? It's like here's just some ideas here. Always with the animal products, even the dairy, we want to go organic, right? Because we don't want to have extra hormones, antibiotics, and God knows what in there, right? So any animal products, always gonna encourage you guys to go organic, because it does make a difference. The sauna. So this is fun too. If you go to a gym, pretty much almost every gym nowadays has a sauna. So that makes it kind of fun. So you can do the work and then you can sit in the sauna at the end. I like to do that. And then I feel like I'm getting a spa treatment. I'm kind of getting rewarded for going to the gym. You can catch up on some reading. And it also benefits your heart. So if you're at a point where you're like, Mel, I'm not very strong, like I've already had a lot of health problems, maybe start with the sauna and just incrementally like increase that, right? Maybe just start with 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and as you get healthier, we do all want to be exercising and doing whatever weights we can. Is everybody on board with the intermittent fasting? Yeah, more or
Yeah.
less, because we're not grazing animals, right? Like they have different stomachs than we do. And we're more of like a feast or famine kind of creature, right? Like our ancestors weren't having 3 meals a day plus snacks. That just seems silly when you think about it, right? So that's why everyone does so well with the intermittent fasting, right? I love 2 meals a day. It's nice if we can finish by sunset, or 5 p.m. if you're wanting to lose weight. 5 p.m. is the best. But at least sunset, I think is better. What does this say? Sorry, there's a lot of messages going on over there. Yeah, and start gradually. If you guys are already past this, but if you're eating, 3 meals a day plus snacks, don't jump into like 1 meal a day, right? And here's just an idea. If you don't know what to do and you want to make sure you cover everything, you could take a picture of this page, right? Just gives you an idea if you don't know where to start. And if you haven't, like, do a private consult with Angie, because she'll give you specific things like for you, right? Like Maggie, Angie's a cardiophysiologist, exercise physiologist that worked in cardiopulmonary for years, right? So she's so good at this stuff. And then just small measurable goals. So I like Bill, let's do that exercise thing like 3 times this week for like 10 minutes, and then Maggie, maybe you want to reach out to Angie if you never got that assessment by her, and then once you go and talk to your team on Thursday, then you can say, hey, how can I work some weights in 3 times a week? Like, what do you guys think? Right. So then these are small and measurable things. And then, Bob, are you going to the gym? Are you doing
No,
some
I'm not.
exercise?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well,
I'm wondering how much weight do you need?
Well, it's what challenges you, right? Like you want it to be
All
a
right,
little bit challenging but doable,
right,
right? So it
right,
depends on you and your strength.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
my only exercise is carrying groceries home from the grocery store.
Okay. So what can we do to maybe increase that, do you think? Like what can we add in?
I don't know. I mean, I
Are
can
you
do
doing your
exercises.
squats after you eat?
Yeah, no, I don't do that. I can't do
Okay,
squats.
let's
I've
start
done
with
squats.
that.
All right.
And then if you don't know if you can do the squats, you can hang on to like the side of the table.
Well, I can do squats. I've done them before. So,
Okay, so let's do 30 squats after each meal since
all
you're
right.
not doing that. We'll work that
All right.
in. Okay, so then everyone has a mini goal for this week, right?
Right.
So like my goal is just gonna be like it always is, like just I'm gonna complete 4 sessions, right? So I have to shoot higher. So I'm gonna shoot for 6 or 7, right? Because I know that things are gonna happen and it's not always gonna happen, right? So small measurable goals, right? And the real goal now we know is that we do need to get those weights in there because we've got to maintain this muscle, right? If we want to age well. And it's good for, our self-confidence and everything. Why does it say that? Weird. It's saying that my screen sharing is paused, so I don't know what's going on there. So they're saying sauna mimics exercise benefits too. So if you're not, if is it a lack of exercise tolerance, Robert, or you just haven't worked it in?
I haven't really worked it in.
Okay, well then let's just work it in.
Right.
And where do you live? You live in like North Carolina?
Yeah, it's warming up, so I can start, going out.
Yeah,
I
because don't they maybe have like some nice like little like they have like a lot of nice nature there. Maybe there's like a cool little state park you can walk through or
Yeah,
something.
there's a park. There's a park close to me. So I used to last year. I used to walk through there, and then it got cold, and I kind of like stopped.
Right. So maybe that's something. Could you walk through there once or twice a week?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
What do you think you might do?
Well, I walk to the bus, so I do a lot of walking. Actually, I've got an app that keeps track of my mileage.
How much mileage are you getting?
I haven't looked really.
Okay.
uh,
That's okay. But yeah, this is something that we have to keep this in mind because it's so important, right? So you'll start
right.
with the squats after you eat. Maggie's gonna talk to her PT team and see about getting weights in 3 times a week, right? And then Bill, you're gonna do the thigh master.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot to, I mean, if you keep up with it, I mean, I could certainly tell that I do that kind of stuff. And two, I can honestly say, when Angie would do Saturday morning like that. I tried to participate in that as much as I could. And, she would ask, if you had any specific thing. And I don't know, I had a little something with my shoulder here. And, she kind of recommended, do this, do whatever. And when I did do that, that really helped. Again, I can really kind of put a plug in for her, that,
She's
she
great.
knows what's good for what ails you. So.
She does. Yeah, hopefully she can get less busy so we can like have her back on
Yeah,
Saturdays.
I kind of miss that. I really can kind of feel, I mean, doing that, I mean, an hour a week, in addition to what, my normal active kind of life, it really kind of enhanced, whatever exercise I get during the week.
Angie's really cool. So she also is really involved in like homeschool group for her younger kids. So she's like a really like full flavor kind of cool lady. So that
Oh,
that
yeah.
whole homeschool thing is growing, and so hopefully, in the future we can have her back. Can you guys see my screen? Because it's telling me my screen sharing is paused. Can you see my
Yeah, yeah, we see
presentation?
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Everything's here.
I don't know
I,
why it's
s- I
telling me
see
that
your
then.
mouth move. Yeah. So-
I
So
can
I
I
mean,
was I
you're
wanted to just
too.
pop in and talk about peptides. Peptides are getting their like day in the sun. I mean, it's like everybody and their mom is talking about peptides. I've been into peptides since before you couldn't even find peptides anywhere. They were only in Europe, right? But the reason peptides are cool is because they're so efficient and they're really natural. Because peptide is just a group of amino acids, but not big enough to be a protein. And we have receptors for them all over our body, and they all are kind of pleomorphic, where they have like multiple positive actions in the body. And now, you guys, this group, you guys are prime for peptide therapy, right? Because you've already learned how to balance your insulin and detox and, get the toxins out of your life, and stuff like that. And so that would be a great point to put hormones and or peptides on top of it. So that would just be my little soapbox moment where they're just trying to, put everybody on hormones and peptides, but not really teaching anyone how to take care of their baseline metabolism, right? So they're going to send these messages, and they're just so efficient. That's why peptides are cool. So like the peptide to heals your gut. It's anti-inflammatory for the brain. People's pain syndromes get better, right? The one for your skin, like the people have great skin, right? So they kind of have a peptide for everything. They have anti-cancer peptides. They like people that have weak immune systems. They've got peptides for that. We were using one of these immune system peptides during COVID, and people were getting better, the next day, right? Like they're very, very efficient, there's a sexual function peptide. We call it the sexy time peptide. And man, do people love that one, because it's efficient and it works different than like your Viagra, that works on the cardiovascular system. This one works on the brain and the nerves, right? And sexual function actually starts in the brain, right? So it's going more upstream, and it seems to work for everybody. So that's why peptides are cool. A lot, they come in all different ways. I have found, like, through my practice, that usually the most efficient ones are the little injectable ones that you might inject into like your belly fat, kind of like an insulin shot or something, right? BPC 157, I love this one for everybody, because we know, that everybody's gut gets to be a little bit of a mess, especially with all the chemicals and everything we're exposed to in modern society. So the BPC 157, any of you gut people especially might want to think about this, but it heals the entire GI tract from esophagus to rectum, right? Which heals everything, right? It does mood, it does immune system, it affects cardiovascular system. The other reason people love this is it does cross the blood-brain barrier, so it's anti-inflammatory for your brain, right? So anybody with dementia, preventing dementia, brain injury, like this is gonna, I've seen actually this actual peptide. My old secretary, she had a big autistic kid. He was 15 and he was nonverbal. And after we put him on this peptide, he started talking in a few weeks. So anybody that that has a kid that's nonverbal, I mean, this is just brain and gut. So it makes sense that that would help. But I've seen it work miracles in just a few weeks, right? Other people take this just for body injuries, right? Like, because it's very anti-inflammatory. So people with a bad shoulder, a bad back, a bad knee, they love BPC 157. So I usually have people do it as a capsule, because usually we want that gut healing, right? So then it goes right into the gut and it's efficient. So this is one of my favorite peptides. It's pretty much good for everybody, because we should all want to take care of our gut and our brain. GHK copper, this has been one of my favorite ones, because like I've always been into beauty and anti-aging, and it literally makes all of your skin anti-age all over your body, right? So it's not like doing a facial, right? It's going to make all of your elastin and collagen better all over your body. And it also has all these other benefits, like people that their hair is thinning, like they love the GHK. It helps their hair get thicker. And it's also like antiviral, anti-cancer, which are nice benefits. But it's a very nice for people that like to take care of their skin. It is efficient. And this is my other favorite peptide, actually. It's CJC 1295 plus ipamorelin. So a lot of these peptides are going to have weird names that you're like, what is that, right? But this is what I call like your mid-range fitness peptide, right? Because they have like what we call the poor man's growth hormone, and then we have the one that's for like the psycho workout people. This is like your mid-range, so this is pretty much a good fit for everybody. And when you take this, you will notice in about 5 weeks that you've got a much better return on your investment for your fitness, right? Like you'll be like, hey, hey, I'm looking pretty good. And it doesn't just do that, right? It makes your hormones work better. It's anti-inflammatory, it enhances sleep. I've had people tell me, and it actually is backed up by research, that taking this peptide made them not want to eat ice cream late at night. And I was like, that's weird. But then I looked it up, and that's one of the things it does is it reduces sweet cravings in people, especially at night. So,
That's
so
good.
if you're not a great sleeper, if you're being naughty at night and you want to get fit, this might be a fun peptide to get on for a couple months, right? Especially if you're starting to lift those weights and go to the gym and stuff. This one I love. I'll probably cycle it back in as we are getting into swimsuit season. As Bob said, it's getting warmer. The Samoralin is like the economy fitness peptide, right? But Tisha, if she's on her, loves the Samoralin. She's a Samoralin girl. People do say that they notice that this one thickens their hair when they take this
My
for fitness,
favorite.
so that's really fun. Yeah, see, she loves it. Metabolism support. So all of these are nice, and these are kind of like luxury items to put on top of what you've already done, right? You're like, okay, cool, but I'd love to sleep better. I'd love to build more muscle, but I feel like I'm not getting return on my investment. And that's why people love the peptides, because you will see, you know, the return you're looking for, right? And I don't see a lot of side effects. Now with this, the PT 144, that's what we call 141. We call it the sexy time peptide because it's for sexy time, right? This does sometimes have a side effect of transient nausea. I'd say maybe in like small percentage, maybe 20% of the guys. It's not enough where they hate it. They still love the peptide, you know. So I asked them, I was like, do you want to do something else? I say, no, I just take some ginger and it's fine. So guys, that your sexual function's down, you don't want to take the Viagra, it makes you feel like you're having a heart attack, infection, whatever. This works for pretty much everybody. I've seen it work on big, very heavy 400-pound guy that, I was shocked it worked on him. The other fun thing is this works for women, right? So women, this is something you can do with your fella, because for women, this is going to enhance sensation and arousal and even orgasms, right? So this is a fun thing that couples can do together too. It doesn't just have to be like, oh, well, so and so has to take this because his function isn't as good. This is something that you can do together, and it's an enhancer, right? And we don't have to worry about any of those cardiovascular side effects because, like I said, it works on the brain and the nerves, and it works on pretty much everybody. So this one is very, very popular. I do recommend the injection. They made other ones because people are afraid of injections, but I found that they just weren't as efficient, and those little shots don't really hurt. It's more of like a head trip. The dihexa is an amazing. This is for the brain, right? So dementia, preventing dementia, you had a brain injury, you had a concussion, dihexa. It is like, wow, the most amazing thing. You had a mini stroke. I had a brain injury. I had a bad concussion. I was getting lost. My dad would have to come find me. I couldn't hold conversations. I tried everything. I did stem cell IV, stem cell up my nose, neuropeptides, and I was struggling until I decided to try the dihexa. Here again, you see crosses blood-brain barrier, repairs neural connections, right? Or maybe builds new ones, and enhances cognitive function. So anybody that's had a brain injury or is concerned about a history of dementia in the family, or maybe you've had a mini stroke, you probably want to do a round of this, because literally once I started taking this, I remember, I don't know if it was like 3 or 5 weeks into taking this, and it's just a capsule. It's not necessarily a peptide. They categorize this as a small molecule. I don't know what that means, but that's what it's called. And this will heal your brain. Like, I swear to God, like whatever it was, 3 or 5 weeks later, all of a sudden I was like, I'm back. I could feel myself back. I could comprehend. I knew where I was, I knew what was going on, and I felt my brain back, which was huge for me because I had always been a really quick lady. So not being able to think was a little, Talk about an identity crisis. If I even knew that I was having one, because that's how out of it I was. I didn't even know I was having one, but I could have been having one if I knew what was going on. The glow peptide is a new one, and this is a combination one of GHK copper, BPC 157. So you got the skin, you got the gut and the brain, and TB4, which is another one that we do for people that have injuries. So this is a nice combination for anti-aging, for someone that has like pain syndromes. Clients that are on this love it. They say their skin's never looked so good, their hair's never been so thick. They love it. They want to be on it forever. That's a new one in the last year. So if those kind of things appeal to you, that's kind of fun because you get a lot of everybody's favorite peptides in one, and clients are giving it rave reviews, right? These are good ones if you have a lot of stress, if you're going to school, anti-anxiety ones, right? Or maybe, maybe you have a kid with neurodivergent that gets kind of worked up. This might be nice. A lot of times they do them as a nasal spray. If you have a little kid, you could maybe get a cream and give them like a back rub. Sometimes these little kids get the brain inflammation, and that kind of helps them with that, right? This one, Selenk, produces calm, reduces the stress response, strengthens the immune function, right? And then the C-Max is like more like I need to be on it. I need to be on, right? So whether you're feeling brain fog or you're feeling crippling anxiety, like these things are actually really, really efficient, or someone in your family. NAD Limitless, anyone that's come to the clinic, this is one of our favorite add-on things because NAD is so anti-aging. It literally here it says a spark plug of your mitochondria, and all of our mitochondria are a little bogged down from all the chemicals in modern living, right? And so it just especially if you hit a wall of fatigue, like maybe you've been going like high stress for a long time and you just hit that wall and now you feel like you weigh 500 pounds and you don't even remember your kid's name, it's time for some NAD Limitless. Okay. It's time. And literally, I'll tell you, because I've hit that wall multiple times myself. After one, you in like an hour or two, you go, oh, hey, I kind of feel like myself again, right? But if you're really worn out, it's not going to last. So then usually I have people do another one in a week, and then another week, and then I find that usually after like a 3 or 4 series, like you're back on your A game, right? And then you just might want to kind of cycle it in, just for anti-aging, maybe once a month. And so this isn't like NAD. Now everybody and their mom is not only doing peptides, they're doing NAD. I don't touch straight NAD because I was early on the game to the NAD too. And straight NAD is kind of like blasting yourself full of cocaine. It's totally nuts, and you don't want to do it. So I only do the NAD Limitless. So it has all these little things with it that balances it up. So it gives you kind of like a smooth effect, and it will last a week to 2 weeks, therapeutically. You don't need to do it multiple times a week like people are doing with these other NAD shots, with less of those intense side effects, right? Because we don't need that. But it is a really cool tool. I love it. And especially if you hit a wall, if you know you hit a wall and you're feeling drained, we should definitely work that in. And that's simple. That's just like it's almost like a B12 shot, but it's NAD. Oh, this thymosin alpha 1. This is the one that it's nice to even just have this in your fridge or your freezer, guys, because this is the one that we were using during COVID to get people better. Pop it in their IV, give them a shot of it, just trying to travel with it, turn them around like that in just a day. And then they made it not available many times during the pandemic. Now we do have a pharmacy that has it available. So it's a good one to keep around because that whole thing came out of nowhere, so I wished at the time I would have been stocked up on this stuff. So I'm just saying, like, I think my dad has it in his freezer. I have it in my freezer because if we know one thing now, you never know. That's all we know, right? Like, I never thought any of that wacky stuff in the pandemic was going to happen. And I was like, oh, are we doing this? Okay. Right. So this might be one to keep around. And then let's say if you have someone in the family that seems to always be getting sick or they're autoimmune, then maybe a lower dose of ongoing TA1 is really helpful too. Right. But it's a good ace in the back pocket because, you never know. And then here's just like, obviously we want to keep heart and longevity. The BPC 157, that's everybody across the board. If you're thinking about dabbling in peptides, like that's just like, having a good foundation. There's your anti-aging ones. And then the NAD is fabulous. We are adding in anyone that's coming in to do IVs. We are going to start adding in poly MVA, which I should probably do a talk about that maybe next week. So poly MVA is one of it's my second favorite IV after the ozone, and it makes your mitochondria work better, right? And it's antiviral and it's anti-cancer. And just because everyone is a little bit fried from modern living and chronic stress, we think that that extra mitochondrial support is going to help everybody thrive more. So that we're adding that into the protocol. So IVs like 2, 3, and 4, we're going to throw on a poly MVA at the end. And you can also take this orally at home, right? So if you're like, ooh, I want to do something for my mitochondria at home, I'm definitely going to get my dad on that. Just got his labs in, and it looks like he needs to add something in for the mitochondria. So that's something to lean into too, you guys. And Tisha can let you know about that if that's something that sounds interesting to you. This one sounds interesting. I haven't really worked with any of these, but the Epidolon is supposed to be like the anti-aging peptide, so it's really interesting. It's also very expensive, but like it literally like extends your telomeres, which say how much life you have in you, right? And then oxytocin gets mixed reviews on its efficacy, but oxytocin is the love hormone, right? And there has been clinical results of people, maybe being more bonding with their family, like being less standoffish. So this can help in, you know, uh, partners, right, with your partner, but also like maybe if there's someone in the family that's very autistic or Asperger's and they're very like standoffish. I have heard oxytocin being a nice add-on in those cases and kind of opening up to like being more connection being available, right? But then it really does have mixed reviews. So I have not hung my hat on that just because of like it seems to be very case dependent. I don't know what's going on there. Um, and here's a nice step up way, but like they were said, the BPC 157, TA1 is that immune one that's good to just have for emergency around, and NAD we love, and then we go up into like these more fabulous ones are, obviously if the sexual functions needed, like then you might want to leapfrog up to that one, Um, and then, yeah, and then that just says if we want to make a personal peptide map, then just reach out to us. But I know peptides are really hot right now. That's what they are. They do work. You guys are all primed to do peptides because you've already learned how to balance your glucose, your insulin, and detox. So if something like that sounds good to you, just reach out to me or Tisha and let us know. And do me a favor and share with me one thing that you're grateful for today, or type it in the chat if you're shy, because it helps wash our mind, because it's so easy to worry and be stressed out and complain, right? So we have to keep rewiring these neural peptides to be in an attitude of gratitude, not just because your doctor's nerdy, but that's actually the energy in which healing happens in. So if you have anything you're grateful for, I know you've got at least one thing, go ahead and say it because it's going to help your beautiful mind remember that you're grateful.
I'm grateful for the weather getting better. It's so beautiful today.
Oh, nice.
Nice weather.
I'm grateful for my doggies because they always love me. They're a lot of work, but they're always worth it, and they're always there for me.
I'm grateful for work.
Absolutely. What about you, Tisha? You want to share something?
I'm grateful to be in this class this morning. Like, I always love listening about peptides, and I feel like it sticks more and more each time. But yeah, there's just definitely a lot of good knowledge. So I'm just, I don't know, I'm just feeling grateful. I was in kind of a, like, I don't know, like I had a slow morning, and so just jumping in the class just kind of woke me up, and yeah, so I feel good.
Oh my gosh, I have a funny story for you guys. Well, I'm grateful that my son came to pick me up at the airport last night. But then, so Maggie, you should know this, okay? So don't do this. Don't do this. So I did the liver cleanse, right? And then on my way to the airport, I wanted to stop and have like a giant salad bar because that's like my favorite thing in the world is like a salad bar, you know? Well, don't do the liver cleanse and then go eat a bunch of raw veggies because then that creates a very interesting combination in your gut. Okay, it was basically like I looked like I was like 4 or 5 months pregnant. That's how bloated I wasn't like a fun case of the farts. It was like someone was like stabbing me like in my intestine. And I was like, what is happening? I took my belt off, like, cause my stomach was like, bloop. So we're just, go for the cooked veggies and skip the salad bar on days like, 1 through 4 after the liver cleanse. So you don't have to go through that.
Thanks for the tip.
That sucked. So I'm grateful that I survived that and that now you don't have to do that. That's crazy. I'm like, what's happening? But now I'm probably just, it's almost gone. I'm probably just like, 2 months pregnant now. So all right. So Maggie, I hope you do your liver cleanse. I'll send you some videos. It looks like I have to run over to the clinic now, but everybody, if you have any questions about hormones, about peptides, reach out to us and we'll be happy to take care of you. We have a couple spots left on the Sedona retreat, which is May 15th to the 18th. If that's not for you, maybe it's for someone you know. This is the last time we're going to do one that small and at that good of a price point, right? And everybody that comes is going to get a complimentary Marriage as well as like all the baseline supplements. And we have some special guests there that are going to teach you some things that you didn't even know that you didn't have. So it's going to be super cool.
And the Epsom salt is the brand is Real from Sprouts.
Real Root.
Real Root.
ROOT. Real Root. Yeah. And then it sounds like Bill's from Walmart works too. Like they said,
Yeah,
theirs were in trouble
both
too.
products were great value from Walmart. So I don't know if that's
All
good or
right,
bad.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, have a great Monday, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you.
you.
Bye-bye.